you've had nothing for so long and worked really hard doing things you didn't like to do, and none of it was your calling, and then you're doing like a 40K month.
Yeah.
You know, like some people 40K is nothing, but that's what some people make in a year.
Oh yeah.
You know,
For sure.
And I used to be one of those people who
busting your ass.
Making even less than that. Yeah, I mean, especially as a comic and you're like paying to do open mics and like you can't go to the movies because you're so broke, and you're just like, hey, how do we just like watch Netflix and hang out, you know?
Yeah.
I do also think it's part of the reason why I was single for so long, because I had this like wild scarcity mentality.
Ready to go?
Yo, I'm ready.
Are you excited? Is this the biggest
Tesla I've ever been in?
Well,
yes, Daddy.
All right then.
Thank you, Elon.
Ladies and gentlemen, so excited today to talk to a good friend of mine and comedian, performs all over the country and abroad, Leah Lamarr.
Hello, hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining me in the car today.
I'm so grateful to be in this very cool Tesla.
I know, well, it's the start. It's the best.
We've changed, Dave.
We've really grown up.
I would say the glow up is real, right? Like
it has to be.
We met, what, 7 years ago?
No. We met, no idea.
Just 1 year ago.
No, I can do the math because we met when I was talking about trying to get engaged. We met when I had already purchased my engagement ring, which was right before the pandemic. And you and I both,
Really?
I think we had a moment at the show where we were like, why don't we know each other? Because we both had like good sets and like...
Because we were both funny and
well,
comedy.
like you don't want to meet somebody that's new, because then it's like you're then stuck to the new stink energy.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stink energy.
Yeah, and you don't want that. But no, we I think we hit it off. We became friends right away.
Right away.
I thought. I don't know. This might be news to you.
No,
you thought this was 7 years ago.
Yeah, we just became friends like yesterday. But no, okay, so it was 5 years ago.
5.
5 years. All right,
At
so let's
most.
say 5. But even then, so you already were with Tosh.
We were long-term together.
You guys were already together, but I was eternally single.
Pretty single.
And dating every fuckboy that's ever existed on the planet.
Can I be honest? I could feel your singularity. You were like, not in a bad way, you were like a feral cat single.
I'm still a feral cat. Not much has changed. Now there's just another feral cat running along with me.
That's what you want in life, is to not lose your stripes, if we're going to do the cat analogies the whole episode. You don't want to get declawed.
No. Oh, God, no.
No, you want to keep that.
I'm like an indoor-outdoor cat. You know, like I need to go outside, do my thing, have a whole nother family. And then when I come home at night, I want to cuddle like I never betrayed you.
You have a great setup. Is your husband in England right now?
Yeah.
So you get to just cross the pond. I mean, by the way, we beat them in the Revolutionary War, and now you settle for...
I've reminded him of this a million times.
That's part of the dominatrix setup he likes. Mm-hmm. Just revolutionary garb coming at him.
Yeah, like, tell me again, you lost.
Put on your red coat, you fuck.
Yeah.
I want to...
Fine, you have the colonies. You have the colonies.
I want to get into... I want to talk about Clubhouse. I want to talk about your touring, where you are now, marriage and all that. How did you go from feral cat single to married and...
Married cat.
Married cat. Tell me, like, how did that happen?
Oh my gosh, Dave, it's been a journey. I remember I did you and Tasha's podcast, and I can't remember if I was talking about just being like really single at that point. I was the girl who everyone was like, yeah, she's definitely single, because I was still like new to comedy.
Yeah.
And when you're new to comedy, being happy isn't funny.
True.
So you kind of have to like figure out what's wrong with your life, and then you just kind of stay in the what's wrong with my life lane for a minute before things get better.
Wait, were you dating comedians?
Who didn't I date? And I'm not going to name names because...
I say that like out of disgust. I'm like, you were dating comedians?
That's how mentally ill I was. Never date a comedian. We're not dateable. Females, I'm just going to say this, are slightly more dateable. Dave, you know...
I'm pretty dateable.
You're dateable.
I think I'm an anomaly for male comedians.
There's a sense of responsibility that comes with you that is like, you know, like unfamiliar with male
don't
comics.
Fuck this up.
Yeah.
I have like a don't fuck this up energy right now, or I'll be the trope that is male comedians.
Oh, you've got a lot weighing on your shoulders, huh?
There's different
pushing that rock up the hill.
There's
sounds
different
exhausting.
itches that comedians scratch. Mine isn't need to get laid. Like, we did that when I was in my acting days. You know, before I got into stand-up.
Yeah, that's always a trajectory.
Some comics don't learn how to talk to people till they're on stage and they have a good set, and then there's, I mean, I
thought you were going to say they don't learn how to talk on stage until they're doing crowd work.
Well, that too,
they're still on stage.
Or the crowd work's like, I have a big dick, are you single? It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and then you get off stage and you're on a date, you're like, so where are you from? Oh, Cincinnati. Well, yeah, and you're like, why'd you go into a crowd work bit, bro? Just
seriously though, I have to learn to be a person still with my wife. I'll come home from comedy after, just like, it's like you come home from just razzing people, and then all of a sudden she's sleeping on the couch, and I'm like, how you doing, you freaking knucklehead? And she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
She already decided to sleep on the couch. She's like, I know we're gonna get into a fight tonight. I'll take the couch this time.
Yeah, Dave. I gotta scrub that energy off. But, you know, she's an introvert, she's a quieter person, and so I can kind of, it works out well because I can kind of, I can get my recess out there and then come home and not have to like annoy her about it.
That's great.
By the way, so we're driving by one of the SAG
many
strikes.
And I will say I did bring my shirt with me because I was gonna ask Dave to drop me off at the strike after.
Do you always
We're at Paramount
go
right
to
now?
SAG strikes to network? I feel like you're
That's the only reason you go. Yeah, it's the only people that are here are non-working actors. They're not the rich actors that have jobs, you know. So we're like, hey, are you in the Writers Guild? Did you write a TV show? So nice to meet you. No specific reason I was asking, of course.
We should collaborate together, that type of deal.
Yeah,
although the SAG strike is better looking than the writer's strike, I have to say.
You can tell exactly who's in SAG and who's a writer just by what they're wearing,
by the frame of their glasses,
how hot they are. Yeah.
All right, so were you long-term dating, or were you just flat out single, and how did you meet the British guy?
Okay, so I was dating. I felt like I was the spiral was closing in.
Okay.
You know, into hitting that target and meeting that guy. I kept dating guys who were all the same person, just in a different body. It was always the guy who was like just not ready. Like they were just not ready. I just came out of a long-term relationship. You're so amazing. I don't want to lose you. I'm just not ready to like. Okay, well then you're just like right person, wrong time is still the wrong person.
Oh, there you go. How was that for a quote?
Therapy,
That's nice.
therapy. So many.
So you're getting a lot of close bites.
I'm getting close. The guy I dated before that had like an absolute mental breakdown, had to go to rehab. So I'm just like, I like to choose winners. That's my thing.
Okay.
Also like been there, done that, everyone, you know, like calm down.
Yeah.
Okay. So pull out, I'm like tuck and rolling out of this situationship that I really wanted to work out with this guy that I really liked. And when I look back, I'm like, did I really like him? Or did I just want him to like me?
Did you cry when it was over?
No, because wait, here's the crazy thing, because this is the first time in my life that I ever saw a pattern occurring. And instead of just letting the wheels fall off, like just pushing the car as far as it would go, and just letting it explode on the highway, I actually got off the highway. I was like, oh, there's a problem, and I'm gonna just let go of this. Like, I'm just gonna get out of the car, I'm gonna walk. Like, I'm good. I don't need to have the car explode. You
went to a new level of enlightenment. You saw the issue before it blew up and avoided it.
Yeah.
Or learn from it. Because you're only going to get the same problem over and over spiritually until you solve it, and then you go to the next video game level. Right, exactly. Which is a British man, apparently. Let me just tell you, I married the first British person I met, so I'm not the best person. Is it the accent? I mean, he's a cute guy. It's everything. You got the cute, you saw the cute dude. He's over 6 feet tall, not that it matters. But it does. He's over he's like 6'2", he's hot. Like, Dave is saying cute because... That's Dave. He's hot. He's hot. He's a good-looking guy. He's a British Jew, which is like finding a needle in a haystack, but Is he Jewish? Yeah. Did you say British dude, or did you say British... Jew. Oh, Jew. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know if there was a term I missed there. No, you ruined my joke, Dave. But, yeah. That's my goal, is to ruin any bit you're trying to do. You know what? I decided at this point, like, I'm not going to do jokes at all. I'm just going to speak from the heart, because so kind of like that's all I've normal got. Act. Yeah. All right. Okay. Guys, funny guy over here. Okay, so... So when I was internationally touring, wow, okay, yeah. I just had to flex because I was so insecure. Okay. Now that you're touring on Melrose with me. Yeah, and it's going not well. Yeah, no repeat customers. I'll tell you. No, your life is going, first of all, you're crushing it. I'm like nervous to message you sometimes because... What? Yeah, once you did the red carpet at whatever award show that was, I was like, I was like, Leah's too cool for me now.
Dave,
you grew up.
I was always cooler than you. I was like, let me just say, I was always too cool for you. But
I'm proud of you is what I'm trying to say.
no, I'm proud of you. I feel like we both really leveled up.
Don't return it.
No.
Take it. You crushed it.
Oh, are you trying to mansplain a compliment to me?
I'm trying to.
Like I can't let you win.
I'm trying to force it down your throat.
It's working. I feel it. I'm just gagging on this compliment.
I'm not letting you deflect here. You, during the pandemic, joined Clubhouse.
Yeah.
An app that's like a telephone group chat. Tell me.
I crushed in the group chat.
You didn't join Clubhouse. You became the icon on the app for Clubhouse.
Yeah.
You had the photo with you laying out your hair. It was kind of
like my face was the icon of an app that you download.
Yes.
Like I was like the Yelp symbol or like the TikTok logo or like the Instagram logo. It was a very surreal experience.
How did you get there?
Just lots of depression and people being locked inside their houses. Like a lot of people had to die for me to get there. So
sounds like it.
No, it was a lot of hard work, and it was just me being addicted to it and on the app 24/7.
Just on your phone,
constantly,
in the group chats, talking to people?
Into Club, constantly on Clubhouse, making rooms, doing stand-up, inviting other comics I knew to come on, made a club, and we all did shows on there. I was doing like 4 or 5 shows a day, like whether they were other people's like rooms or my rooms.
Do you have stand-up jokes written down next to your phone? Like how are you just doing your act?
Because no one could see you. So it's actually interesting because also you're getting like audio feedback, but you can't see people. So you kind of have to wait for people to unmute to laugh. So also you can't invite that many people onto the stage because you don't know who's crazy. So you wait for like vetted people to come into the room and you're like, oh, this person's not mentally ill, so they can come onto the stage. They're not gonna like start screaming racial slurs and you have to kick them off or whatever, right? So like you're doing jokes. And the thing about this is like there were some really famous comics that came in and started trying to do stand-up and they just would eat shit.
Sure.
And I think it's because a lot of people live off their charisma. And the fact that people already know who they are and that they're like trained to laugh when they see them.
Yeah.
But when you're on, like, it was an even playing field. So people coming on, if you're just funny and like your actual joke is funny, people are gonna laugh and like
kind of like Twitter. It was like jokes work because you strip, like you said, you strip away all the shininess that comics do with tricks on stage, and that. So I mean, you were opening for Dane Cook after that.
Yeah.
How like?
And then I started headlining myself, which was really cool.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with opening for Dane? Because
Dane
obviously
met me on Clubhouse.
He met you on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and then he was just like, "You're great. Like, let's figure out how to collaborate." And then he brought me on the road. And that was a really cool experience for me, especially because I always thought he was so funny. And he did with MySpace what I did with Clubhouse. Like, he built his own fan base.
Right.
Completely organically from the ground up by himself. And I, more than anything, respect a person's hustle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's why I respect you. That's why, like, Andrew Schultz, like, the way that he just absolutely beast moded it, everything himself, that takes a lot of courage and stick-to-itiveness, and it's really hard to do it, especially when you're getting, like, no's from the clubs.
Oh, yeah, and Dane Cook was shaking hands after every show. I mean, he really, from every comic...
He put the time in. He pounded the pavement hard.
And I guess the reason why... I almost watched
I was like, just almost watched an accident. So LA, yeah.
The only reason he gets shit is because he got so famous that people want to knock that down, which is like what you're going to get.
Same thing that's happening with Matt Rife right now, and it's just like, why don't you just let people who've been working for forever and hustle hard and are talented just...
Yeah.
Why can't you just let them have the W?
My channel had like...
It's so weird and
we
jealous.
had like 0 followers for like 7 years. And then all of a sudden, things popped off, and people wanted to like find out how I hacked the system. And it's like things just finally hit that critical mass.
You're like, hey, I hate to let you know this, but it was hard work and dedication. Yeah.
And a good smile. But
all right,
but to be quite fair with you, here's a second compliment. You're extremely beautiful. It takes nothing away from your stand-up. You're extremely talented with stand-up. To make it on Clubhouse, which is audio only, and then you become the bombshell face of the app. I mean, that's like a pretty... Like, there's no way to... I mean, what was the biggest traffic you got from that app? Like as far as...
It was crazy. Like, at one point, it was my birthday on the app, and I was in a room for 15 minutes on my birthday, and people sent me $2,500.
Oh, my gosh.
But that was just people loving me. Like, I don't know how to explain. I wasn't always doing stand-up. You know, I think there were a lot of rooms where we'd just be talking and people liked our personalities, and it wasn't just roast rooms and comedy rooms. It was also like, people love you and want to hear about what you have to say, want to hear your POV on things. And at the time I was very single. And so I would just talk a lot about the struggle, and people really related to that.
You know what's so funny? That my YouTube took off because of talking as well. During the pandemic, the thirst for people to connect with others that were stuck at home, and Clubhouse obviously completely blew up. The beginning of the pandemic, you were like doing Zoom Pilates classes. Mm-hmm. At what point did you go from working Pilates for donations to being like, oh shit, this is lucrative?
You know what? I'm going to say, even when I was doing Zoom Pilates classes for donations, even then I was grateful. And I felt like, wow, everything's coming together. And that's so crazy because I'd make like, what, $100?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, wow. Like, people are really connecting to this. They're really loving classes. I'm helping people. Like, I'm connecting with people. That's so cool. And then, but it's not my purpose, you know what I mean? I just like loved Pilates, and I was like, how do I make money, do the thing that I like doing, connect with people, and it just kind of came together, and I would like crack jokes sometimes about it. But then when Clubhouse came around, I didn't have time for anything else because I was literally sleeping on the app. Like, I would leave it on in my closet in the background. And my roommates at the time were like, was there like a man in the house last night? Because I thought we agreed to no people coming over. Like, there's a pandemic.
You would just leave it on so you would be clocking the hours and people would be finding you?
Just, yeah. Wow. So crazy. It's so crazy. Like, it was a full-on addiction.
What was the biggest either month, week, or day, monetarily speaking, from Clubhouse? Like, what was...
I actually don't want to share because I haven't done my taxes yet.
Okay. Are we talking like... So that's big then?
You know what? I did really well, Dave. And by really well, I just mean I was living below the poverty line for so long that I think even if I was making like $4,000, I'd be like, wow!
I get it. I talk all the time. We went from minimum wage to unemployed during the pandemic to making almost $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
I absolutely...
So it's like, it's same, basically. Same.
Yeah, I can see where the growth... And we talk about it because it's supposed to be inspirational for others to keep plugging away at it, because everyone's story is just like a web that comes together and you don't know what you're building at the time. You would have never known Clubhouse existed, but your gift of gab and all the things that you've brought to your stage with being open about your relationships and life and all that just connects with people.
I think it was that, but also, you know, when you've had nothing for so long and worked really hard doing things you didn't like to do, and none of it was your calling, and then you're doing like a $40K month.
Yeah.
You know, like, some people 40K is nothing, but that's what some people make in a year.
Oh yeah.
You know,
for sure.
And I used to be one of those people who
busting your ass.
Making even less than that. Yeah, I mean, especially as a comic, and you're like paying to do open mics, and like, you can't go to the movies because you're so broke, and you're just like, hey, how do we just like watch Netflix and hang out, you know?
Yeah.
I do also think it's part of the reason why I was single for so long, because I had this like wild scarcity mentality. And when you're in hustle mode to survive, you're literally in survival mode. You're in survival mode, and it's impossible to date because, you know, I do think, was I waiting for someone to come and save me? Maybe a little bit, sure. But also, it's like the energy of someone who's desperate and just trying to survive is not super attractive.
Oh yeah, totally. And this is why the idea of like winning the lottery, you know, is like a false hope, because not everybody, but I feel like you and I are probably the same, where we're feeling like you earned it and you built it is so much more rewarding. I always say, like, you know, my first check when I was opening for someone was $750 for the weekend, but my first $20 spot pay from a New York comedy club felt better.
Invincible.
Yeah. Cash, you sign at the bartender, says, hey, good job, and you put it in your pocket and pretend like you're used to it, and then you're like...
You walk away feeling like you just got your dick sucked. You're like, oh, I'm a real comic,
and then you
baby.
Spend $80.
I got $20.
$20.
Wow.
But that's it. That's that feeling of you earned it.
But that feeling of, you earned it, and people, it's like you suddenly get this, like, the smallest ounce of validation, which is like, we shouldn't need it, but we do, and that's it. Like, we need a little validation. If you don't get validated by what it is you're doing, I mean, you did for 7 years without hitting.
I mean, I'm talking
views and
like
stuff, but it's like you do start to feel a little delusional, but you have to be a little delusional in order to make it in the business.
Yeah, right. You have to be delusional because they always say, "Oh, the odds are so against you," but they're against you if you quit. If you're not going to quit, if you're going to keep on plugging,
Dad's car is so safe.
Yes, isn't that safe? It's too much of a. I need to get rid of the sound.
It's too safe. It's too safe. To be honest, that car was so far away.
Right?
Like we would have hit like a person on the street more than.
And look at this. We can just go like that. I'm done. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. It's nerve-wracking.
See, what I don't like about
Look,
it.
it's braking on its own. Oh, there's a cop. Oh, is that a cop? Or you know, it just looks
Wait,
like
is it illegal to not hold your steering wheel?
I don't know. You're supposed to like have a knee on it or something.
A knee?
It knows. If
officer, my knee was on it.
It knows if you're not on it, but like if you're driving to San Diego and you want to just cruise and kind of relax, it takes care of itself.
See, this is how I know you're not Jewish, because there's no relaxing when you don't have a hand on the wheel.
I might be Jewish. Do you know that?
No, you're not.
I don't know.
Enough.
You don't know me. My dad was adopted, and I might have
You
Jewish
never
blood
took
in me.
23andMe?
Nope.
Why not?
I don't know.
You don't want to find out that you control the weather?
I always said, give me one day of Hanukkah and we'll call it even. Just give me one day.
Stupid.
I don't know.
Because you're 1/8 Jewish.
I might be full Jewish. I don't know.
That's definitely not true. Is your mom Jewish?
My mom is Irish.
So then you're not full Jewish.
True.
Oh, the math ain't mathin', Dave.
We're going to edit that part out. Give me hope. Let me live a little. Okay, so you're on Clubhouse. You're hitting it big. You're seeing bigger paydays than you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
I respect all of that. I understand how weird other people get by that because it's a lot and we've all been there and broke and understand that. But like a lot of catch up needs to happen. So then Clubhouse sort of goes away. Did you have advance notice? Did you see it kind of going away? Tell me about that aspect.
Well, the going away started happening when the world started opening back up. I mean, it's like, what do you expect people to just sit indoors on their phones forever? It's like,
Twitter basically ripped it off, as tech always does. They'll steal each other's.
Yeah, everyone started cloning the app and trying to kill it, and there's like tech jealousy, and then of course Meta is just trying to just have every app on their app to be the one. You know, they're like the Infinity Stones. It's just like it's like the Thanos of apps. But I just think at this point we were watching it fade, but also I was done. I was already done. I think I had lived so much on there, and I was exhausted. Like I was so depressed.
How many months were you full time on there?
I honestly don't know.
Was it about a year?
Yeah, probably.
It was like a blip in the radar as far as like Americana goes, but that is attached to the pandemic. Clubhouse gave you an audience.
It was like the only way for people to connect, and people craved connection. And I met a lot of really amazing people off that app. Like there are people on there that I'm like have helped me in business so much, or people who've become real friends from there. It's a lot of those people are in my life on the day to day. So you opened for Dane. Was there imposter syndrome? How nervous were you? Tell me what that feeling was like. You know what? I wasn't nervous. I think I kind of stopped getting nervous a few years ago. I will get nervous if my parents are there. I'll shake like a fucking leaf. I would get nervous. I was nervous the first time my husband came to see me. I would get nervous if a casting director was there and they're like, "Hey, I'm watching you." That would make me nervous.
Where did your husband see you?
But if I'm in a theater of 5,000 people, I don't care at all.
Yeah, well, there is something to that about like the bigger the audience, the less sort of like tiny variables that can go wrong. But yeah, so where did your husband see you perform stand-up for the first time?
I think it was in London. I'm trying to think of the very first time.
And how'd you guys meet?
I think it was at Top Secret. Okay, so I was tucking rolling out of this situationship with this guy that I really wanted things to work with. That when I looked back on it, I realized in our final date at dinner, he didn't ask me a single question.
Oh my God, I've been that guy. Do we date?
Honestly, yeah, probably. Not one single question. I'm like, oh wow, that's wild.
Was he nervous or just self-centered?
No, obsessed with himself.
Obsessed.
I swear, sometimes he'd like send me a selfie. I'm like, wait, that's my thing. What am I supposed to do now? You know, like, what? You know, like there's only room for one narcissist in this relationship, and it's me.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm tucking rolling out of this, and like I said, it's the first time that I walked away from a relationship before we could absolutely hate each other. Mm-hmm. Where I remember thinking, okay, I've asked him, where do you see this going? He says, it's not off the table, but I can't right now, which means no.
And how long was that into the
I don't know, like 2.5 months.
Okay, yeah, that's...
Like I just need to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, it's in the window of responsible
You're
time.
introducing me to all of your business partners one-on-one at dinners and, like, bringing me to company parties and things. Like, what am I?
An escort. You sound like...
An escort. Yeah. And honestly, thank you so much for thinking I'm hot. My day rate should have been way higher. Instead, it was free.
What do I owe you? Just more than this coffee.
Truly, I could have made so much more money off of that. So, yeah, it was really heartbreaking, but I heard him. I heard the words he said. I chose to believe it wasn't going to change because anytime I thought, oh, I could change him. Oh, he said he's not ready. Oh, wait, I'm special. I will make him ready. I will pull him out of this because he'll realize how amazing I am and that he'd be crazy to want to lose me. This complete psychopath.
At this point, where are you value-wise? Is this when you were crushing it in Clubhouse? Or is this
I've already
pre-club?
crushed.
Oh, so at this point, you already had the stock high. The stock was high, the Leah Lamarr stock was high.
You know what?
He still wasn't valuing you.
And so I just thought, okay, you know what? Let's just be friends. And he did not like that. He did not like that at all, actually. And I meant it. Like, I'm out. I'm done. Nice. I do not want to do this anymore. And if, like, he would just, like, hit me up for this, like, stupid, like, wishing me a happy Valentine's Day. It's like, go away. Just, you know, like, it's done. Like, I'm done here. I don't need these
Do you believe that decision you made changed the course of your dating? I mean, it sounds like a pretty strong decision you made.
It was a big decision for me because I would normally let this kind of guy ruin my life for like 8 to 10 months, you know? And instead I was like, I think I'm good to like stick a pin in it at 3.
Isn't that the beauty of aging though, is like time is of an essence?
How dare you take the word aging out. Learning, growing, becoming more mature, yes.
Closer to death. I
will never age because we live in LA and there are doctors for this, but go on.
Yeah, no, that's true. You're good with your sunblock. But yeah, so that re-shifts the algorithm within the universe to say, all right, Leah ain't dealing with this anymore. We'll no longer give this to her.
She's ready. She's leveling up. So then I tuck and roll to Ibiza.
Ibiza.
So if you say Ibiza in America, people are like, oh my God, you little twit.
It's like pronouncing faux. It's like, I know it's the right way,
I know it's right, but just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Right. Croissant. But if you say Ibiza in like Europe, they're like, you uncultured swine.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's no winning. There's no winning when you're American.
You tuck and roll to Ibiza.
So tuck and roll to Ibiza for a possible work situation. But I only went there because I was supposed to go to the Dubai Comedy Festival. And I had actually never traveled up until this point in my life. Like, I went to Peru once for a wedding, and I went to Israel for birthright, and like that was like basically the only time I've ever been out the country. Oh, and I dated this like horrible Mexican guy for a second. I visited him in Mexico City for 5 days. Worst trip of my life. Moving on. So very little experience outside of like I'd never been to Europe at this point. So I was supposed to go to Dubai Comedy Festival, which I did go to, but I was like, I've got a little bit of money right now. I'm really sad. There's a potential work opportunity for me in Europe. I should just go there first.
Sure.
And so I did it. And to me, it felt really scary to leave LA because I was like, you're going to lose out on work opportunities here.
Right. Leaving opportunities.
Hustle mentality. People are going to think I'm taking a break. Like, it's just so crazy.
All your own thoughts, yeah.
Oh my God. It's wild. No one cares. No one cares. And also, like, you need to live to have interesting content.
Yeah, like, they always say the second you leave LA, you'll get auditions.
Dude,
people want you.
I haven't worked in so long, and there's a SAG strike. I dropped my commercial rep, and I was in Slovenia. The only reason I'm back in LA, Slovenia, is because I booked a commercial and had to come back the next day.
There you go.
That's Slovenia. I couldn't have booked a commercial when I was living in LA and had commercial rep and like, no.
But your big Slovenia energy.
I can only book a commercial when I'm 9 hours ahead in a different time zone in Eastern Europe.
C'est la vie. We're big in Slovenia,
grateful.
By the way.
Very
big
grateful.
Slovenian audience
Dude,
here.
Slovenia is my favorite country in Europe, and I'm sticking to that.
That's where Melania's from, right?
Oh, is she?
I think she's Slovenian.
That would make sense. It's like the most... I thought she was Russian.
No. We'll go with Slovenia.
Oh, I thought you meant Milana Weintraub.
Oh, wait, I said Melania.
You meant the ex-president's wife. I tried to block that out.
No, his current wife. What's his current wife's name?
Melania.
Okay, yeah.
I just forget they exist
because you said
I hate them so much.
Got you.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Woof.
So then you're in Ibiza.
So I'm in Ibiza.
Feeling good, got some money.
I'm so sad. I'm on this beautiful villa. I'm super jet lagged. I'm like Instagram stalking this guy who I already let go of because I was just like, what? How is this possible? Why doesn't he like me? Okay, whatever. Moving forward. So I get there, and 3 days in, I'm still miserable. And my friend, one of the people out there that I knew at the villa, he was like, my mate Adam is coming. I think you're really going to like him because he's Jewish. And I'm going to push you guys together. I was like, dude, it's kind of anti-Semitic to just assume all Jews are going to like each other.
But also,
and then he showed me his photo, and I was like, push us together. It's anti-Semitic for us not to be together. And then that night, when I saw him, the only way I can express the feeling, because I thought I'd had this feeling before, but that love at first sight feeling was actually just like chaos at first sight, or
6'2" at first sight.
Lust at first sight. I've had it before, but it's always been something that was more just like a feral feeling. Yeah. It was the butterflies, and the butterflies usually means it's not good for you.
Really?
It's a chaotic feeling.
Dangerous?
Someone should make you feel calm. That's how you should know that they're good for you. Wow. And when I saw him, my first thought was, oh, there you are.
Wow.
It was so wild. I just saw him and I was like, oh, okay, well, there he is. And then that night we went to Pasha, which is the #1 notoriously loudest nightclub in the world. I don't party. I don't even drink. Like, this is whatever. So we go there. I have toilet paper in my ears like a grandma because it's so loud. And he comes over. He's like, would you like some earplugs? And I was like, yes, I would. And he was like, would you like to go outside and talk? And I was like, oh my God. Coming off the heels of a guy who didn't ask me one question about myself on our last dinner.
How many months ago is this? I just want to get a time frame here. This is under 2 years, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got married at the end of November, and we'd only been together for 7 months. So it was like the beginning of May.
How much of that is like green card stuff? Versus, I mean, because when it's someone abroad, not to say it's just that, but it's like, all right, if my wife was Canadian, we would have got married 5 years sooner. Right. But like, we just had no reason to.
So the reason is because we're gonna apply for status, but we would get married anyway.
By the way, that means we're friends because I can like just ask you that.
Oh yeah, of course. No. We didn't have like a whole wedding. We got married in a courthouse in Northeast Florida. Not to brag, like this woman. We got married by a woman named Tiffany who was shaking like a leaf. I'm like, bitch, it is 2 minutes. Get your shit together.
She was nervous.
Yeah, I had to put my wedding ring through a metal detector. It's like very romantic. It was I had to tell some people in the back who were having a land dispute to be quiet because we were getting married. Like, it was
a land dispute during.
Yeah, it was in the local courthouse.
You always have to like move past the divorces to get. It's like, can we just do this?
And you're like, and actually, he's the dad. Yeah. So it was a very trashy, fun, beautiful wedding. It was just the two of us and my parents, and we intend to have a full wedding once all of our paperwork and everything goes through.
Amazing.
Probably in the UK because his whole family is there. And it just makes more sense.
How did your parents feel about this?
Great. I think at this point they were just, at first they were like, you gotta marry a nice Jewish man. And then they were like, just a man. And then they were like, a horse, anyone who will look at you. And then it stopped. I think I got nervous when it stopped.
That's what's funny is like, we don't settle, our parents settle. Our parents are like, yeah, this is the one, wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, and then when they met him, they were just like, this is a miracle. You met a Jewish man who's also has an accent, who's also tall and good looking and sweet and has a job and isn't an actor. Like, congratulations, Leah. You really need. He's an absolute angel.
To deal with you, he must be.
Yes.
Respectfully. You're a large personality.
Huge.
How do you act with him? Are you different? You say he's calming. So like, are you, because a lot of extroverts or people mask being extroverts when they go home, they're completely different.
I'm an absolute introvert at home. I need silence. I don't want anyone to talk to me. I don't want anyone to look at me. I want to be a gremlin in the bed. I want to bed rot for as long as possible.
Would this drain you? A conversation like this? And you can be honest, it's fine if it does.
Oh yeah, like I'm going to go home after this and just sit there for hours wishing that this never happened. But
I want to make you look good.
Yeah, no. He is.
And by the way, do you want to go to Netflix or do you want to go home?
Oh, yes.
Because I don't want to take up more of your time. Do you want to go to Netflix?
Let's go home.
Okay, let's go home.
Because I think it might be... Oh, it ends at 1.
Oh, okay.
So,
This is more important. This is our virtual picnic.
Yeah. yeah, of course. Yeah, this is definitely within the
solidarity.
Guidelines. In solidarity, yeah. We're not doing anything wrong.
So, did he feel the same way about you? Was he like, whoa,
bitch,
this is...
Please.
You had him whipped?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's the crazy thing. So we're at the club talking. Lol. We're the only people talking at the club, I'll tell you that much.
With your earplugs in?
Yeah, with my earplugs in.
What?
We're sitting outside, like, people are vomiting all around us. Like, not super romantic. And then he asked me what I did for charity. I was like, that's how you know he doesn't live in LA, because he asked me what I did to help other people. And I was like, that's never been...
You're like, as a tax write-off? Like,
yeah, I don't... Like, I connected people so that I could get something out of it. Like, I'm not sure what you mean by that. And yeah, we just talked and talked. And honestly, I was so jet lagged that I didn't feel like I was interesting at all.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, this guy, like, he just kept asking me questions. And I was like, I don't feel like myself. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, I don't have jokes right now. I'm just so tired.
You were authentic. You were you.
I was like...
Without any extra.
I was core me. Wow, your car is such a little bitch.
Isn't it
no
really?
Offense.
Not even
You were
close.
just so far. It made you
I didn't even
swerve.
brake. I didn't even brake.
Did it make you swerve?
No,
or
I swerved
did you
on my
swerve
own.
just so it would shut up?
Yeah.
Wow, this car's toxic, honestly.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a speed test? Do you want to see how fast it goes?
No, I think I'm okay. I've done that
It
before.
doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in cars where men need to show me how fast their car
We're
went.
gonna do it. Okay, fine. It doesn't go that fast. It's like the SUV version.
It goes like 45 miles per hour. Oh, Lord.
Okay, so he sees you at your core. I don't want to say ugly, but like it.
How dare you? You're calling me ugly on the inside? That is rough,
We're
Dave.
all
Okay.
ugly. It's the version of you that you
right.
wouldn't normally present, but
yes,
you were
on
done.
a date, especially or something like that, right? I was done. I was absolutely deceased. So then I see this like really hot guy walk into the club, and I was like, hey, can you watch my purse for a second? And I chased that guy into the club. And then I'm like, Leah, what are you doing? I literally just stood there for a second. And you were like, you've just done this every single relationship you ever had. You know where this trail goes. You know exactly what is at the end of this hot guy rainbow. And like, my husband is hot. He's just nice. Like, and I felt like I had him. So I was like, I cared less.
You expected that there was a game you had to play?
Yeah, like the cat and mouse, the chase, whatever it is. And I got so excited by it. And then I was like, why don't you just let the nice man be nice to you? And then I walked back outside with like a dog with my tail between my legs. Like, hey. He didn't know what had happened, but I knew what had happened. I just told him I was going to the bathroom.
Oh.
But really, I was just going to like chase this guy into the club.
That was your reptilian thing. You were I gotta go get that guy.
Yeah, me and Zach were both reptilians. But yeah, that instinct for the cat and mouse chase, like, let me tell you, that will ruin your life.
Yeah.
The chase is an illusion. And if you start out with your relationship being in this toxic cat and mouse chase relationship, it doesn't make it so that your relationship gets better. You never get on the same page. You just always build in this, how do we get into a cat and mouse dynamic? And then you're stuck in the cat and mouse dynamic forever instead of just being safe with someone and happy.
I was using this. Tom Sandoval came into my show the other night. Do you know him? He's like the villain. You know him from Vanderpump Rules?
He's the greatest. I'm so bad at reality TV stuff.
He's the greatest villain in the world. He cheated on his longtime girlfriend, and he's 41. But I was looking at him going, this guy's still trying to chase that high. He didn't realize that no matter how many random new people you fuck, you're not going to get anywhere from that.
Yeah.
And with your case, I'm not saying it's how many random people you can fuck, but it's like that idea that there's something better when the guy that you were supposed to be with was right there, but you figured that out very quickly, it seems.
In that minute, in that moment, I just thought, stop this. You've done this every single time and it's never worked out. Why do you, like, that's the definition of insanity.
Yes.
I mean, it also arguably could be doing a show for 7 years that never gets any views, but it's also like,
but
you never know.
That next day, you never know. So from there, do you guys immediately go like, this is it? Like, how quick did you freak him out? Did you guys just same page?
No, and I was so myself around him at all times because we just felt like this like childlike joy around each other, and he's super funny, and we were just bantering like crazy, and it just was so easy, so effortless. There were no games. I would call and text first. I hate what all these relationship experts are like, oh, he should always call you first. He should always take the initiative. And it's like, this is what's creating the cat and mouse dynamic. Like, if you like someone, I think you also need to show interest.
Yeah. And if they're scared of that, then then there's other aspects of your personality that are going to scare them off anyway.
Yeah, also
it's like if you can't handle that, you're not gonna like Leah post show Leah.
I'm like a huge personality. You know what I mean? Like I have like a lot. And if you see me live and then you think that for even 1 second, I'm gonna be like, oh no, you have to make all the first moves. It's like no guy's gonna believe this dichotomy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not. It's not
you did
true to who I am.
What works for you.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask you before I let you go here about your stand-up.
Do I file for unemployment after this?
Yes, you're done.
What did I do wrong, Dave?
It's not you, it's me. No, I
the business
value
is failing,
your
yeah.
time, and I don't want to waste any of your time here. But you get the last time I saw you do stand-up. Actually, we were on a different show together, but I saw you run your Edinburgh set over here in West Hollywood, and I was like, I didn't want to say hi after because
That's
everyone.
a year ago.
Yeah, but everyone was there to see you, and I was like, I'm not going to bother. I just don't like to bother people. That's my core being is I don't want to bother you. Hi, I wanted you to know I was there. I cashed in my points. Friend is here. Give me a favor someday. And now here we are. But you were great up there. You really were just in your own element and having fun, and not everything was scripted and it was loose and all these things. So how's your stand-up? How's life been now that Clubhouse is essentially gone and you've moved those followers to Instagram and to live performance?
It's great. Life is great. I've gotten so much better at crowd work because of Clubhouse, because you have to be ready for anyone to just say anything at any time. And I became like a sniper. And then I started just really hamming up all my crowd work stuff because I was having fun doing it and I got good at it. And so I think my favorite type of stand-up to do now is weaving in and out of material and into crowd work and just going back into jokes and then having a moment with someone. Also because I've noticed that the people that I do crowd work with become fans for life.
Totally.
They feel like they had this special, unique moment with you.
Yeah.
Like people I did crowd work with like even like 4 years ago are still following me, like comment on everything.
And
like,
as a performer, you remember it too. You go, oh, you were the girl Susan, whose guy wasn't really in, you can totally like remember where people were sitting at what show. Not always, but in some cases. And it's kind of like, some comics can go on stage and hit the play button on their album and you don't feel that personal connection. But I think collectively, audiences are over that and it's about having a unique experience. So good for you.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I'm having a good time and now I'm just going on the road touring. Like I did shows in Barcelona, like I was headlining in Barcelona. Barcelona, right before I got here, right before Slovenia, and doing a ton of shows in London. I'm going to go back to London and I might go to Edinburgh to like catch the tail end of the week and do some spots, and then setting up some dates in Paris and Amsterdam and maybe Copenhagen.
Amazing. So are you full-time like London? Is that where you're there mainly, or are you just still bouncing back?
No, it's just because we're back and forth so much and because it's the summer and there's a strike, so it doesn't really feel like I need to be here right now.
Totally.
European summer better than LA summer? I don't know, you tell me.
Dude, we're trying to get to some European Christmas festivals this year, so I might ask you where I need to go.
Yeah, I did Christmas last year as well.
Was it amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, having not been to Europe before this relationship, you kind of have like this like European shaman taking you around to all the. I mean, it's beautiful, and
He is a European shaman.
Tell him like all of that.
I'm gonna let him. Yeah.
The 6'2" European shaman.
While we're having sex, I'm like, you're a European shaman.
Well, did I leave anything on the table, or did we get to the meat here? I think this was pretty good.
I think the meat
was here.
The meat was raw. It's been cooked.
We cooked it, and there's some leftovers for later. Thank you so much. I'll get out of the car and give you a hug, but thank you so much for doing it. How can people find you? Just Instagram?
Instagram, at Leah Lamarr with 2 R's. TikTok, Leah Lamarr with 5 R's. And I'm on tour, so...
We'll get you some audience, not that you need it.
Find me on Instagram.
Yeah, keep the koozie. It's a gift. Dave Neal Fan Club.
Oh, God. Damn.
You don't need to keep it if you don't want it.
It's not that I don't want it. It's just...
Are you too many koozies?
Actually, spilled tea, not beer.
It's cute, right?
This is really cute, Dave.
Okay. Well, I'll give you guys.
I love you.